All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm going to do a little backstory just so you guys get the drift of what's going on. Bill Gates done a recent one-on-one with CBS News anchor Norah O'Donnell. And surprisingly, Norah did not throw Bill a bunch of softball questions. You guys got to see this. You guys are watching Talks with Ryan. Like, share, and subscribe. Let's get into today's video.
Bill Gates joins us now. Bill, thank you.
Great to talk to you.
Bill, one of our viewers texted us this question. His name is Eric. He's actually from Washington State, where you are, and he asked, would you send your children to public school in this current situation?
If a school is being careful, then yes.
Now, I'm pretty sure that Norah is asking the wrong guy the wrong questions. As for Bill, he wouldn't send his children to public school regardless of the circumstances. His children, all three, attended a prestigious private school in Seattle called Lakeside. This is also where Bill attended as a young man. It was also where Bill met the co-founder of Microsoft, Paul Allen. This is a school where the annual enrollment cost is $33,000 per child per year. And that don't include books and supplies, which tack on another $5,000 per child.
If you live in a single generational household and you have a school that's being careful, then I do think it's reasonable to say, you know, my kid can get that the educational opportunity, you know, particularly as the kids are younger.
I want to turn now to the race for a cure. We've seen a lot of promising news this week on the vaccine front. What do you make of the results from AstraZeneca and Moderna?
Well, it's very hard to characterize complex scientific things in a sort of simple to understand format.
In other words, Norah, along with everybody else watching and listening to this video, we are all too stupid to comprehend. Hell, I always wondered why they called Bill an expert.
We don't know if these vaccines will work.
We don't know if these vaccines will work.
We don't know if they'll work to avoid deaths. We don't know if they'll work to avoid transmission.
Now I'm starting to rethink some things because that don't sound nothing like what an expert would say. Does it?
That's why we're working on so many first-generation vaccines and a whole bunch of second-generation vaccines that, you know, although they'll take more time, they are more likely to be extremely effective.
That this type of DNA vaccine has never been used on humans before. Let me repeat that. Please understand, this has never, ever been used on humans before. Never. Never.
We don't know if these vaccines will work.
It's great the U.S. government has been willing to fund vaccine manufacturers.
Now wait just a second. The U.S. government is funding the vaccine manufacturing, but they're broke and they're over $24 trillion in debt. So what Bill is actually trying to say is the American people, through tax dollar extortion, will be funding the manufacturing. I want you guys to remember this bit of information for a little bit later in the video.
Our foundation is partnered with them on that. That's something in my regular phone calls with Dr. Fauci we update each other on. Okay, how are we working with various companies? You know, which ones do we think we need to add to the mix there? What is the scalability going to be so that not just the U.S., but the entire world gets the vaccine?
But the entire world gets the vaccine, gets the vaccine, gets the vaccine.
Not just the U.S., but the entire world gets the vaccine.
So yes, I am very hopeful in innovations in both therapeutics and vaccines. The advanced therapeutics will come first, but in 2021, probably in the first half, we're going to get some good vaccine tools, and that'll be a big milestone.
Why does Bill keep referring to the year 2021? Does he not know that it's 2020 right now? That's just a little tongue-in-cheek for you guys, but listen up to this next segment.
Well, I want to ask you, you mentioned side effects. The side effects for the Moderna vaccine sound concerning. We looked. After the second dose, at least 80% of participants experienced a systemic side effect, ranging from severe chills to fevers. So, are these vaccines safe?
We don't know if these vaccines will work.
Well, the FDA, not being pressured, will look hard at that. The FDA is the gold standard of regulators, and their current guidance on this, if they stick with that, is very, very appropriate. And you know, today, Junior, side effects were not super severe. That is, it didn't cause permanent health problems for.
Now, guys, I want you to remember this is the same FDA that approved Monsanto. It's the same FDA that approved all the medications that are now featured in some type of class action lawsuit because of the problems that they've had with all those medications over the years. That's the same FDA that Bill is counting on to make this thing safe. Also, when did they start considering permanent health problems to be a side effect? As far as I've ever been taught in my lifetime, if anything's permanent and it's a problem, it's considered permanent damage. Not a side effect, not a symptom.
The things there, Moderna did have to go with a fairly high dose. And so, to get the antibodies, some of the other vaccines are able to go with lower doses to get responses that are pretty high, including the J&J and the Pfizer. And so there's a lot of characteristics of these vaccines. It's great that we have multiple of them that are
Bill,
going out there. And yes, I think
you know the data
US
better than I do.
government.
Bill, the data showed that everybody with a high dose had a side effect.
Yeah, but some of that is not dramatic, where it's just super painful. But yes,
It's just, super painful, but yes.
Yeah, but some of that is not dramatic, where it's just super painful. But yes,
we need to make sure there's not severe side effects. The FDA, I think, will do a good job of that, despite the pressure.
How many doses of the vaccine will we need? You've said some more than 7 billion doses. That's what we'll need.
Well, if what you're trying to do is block all the transmission, then you need to get 70-80% coverage on a global basis. So that it's unbelievably big numbers.
I mean, you're talking about a global vaccination program.
You're talking about a global vaccination program.
Without a vaccine that hasn't been fully developed yet, and a massive scaling up of how to produce one or several vaccines. I mean, it's mind-boggling to think about this effort.
Regardless of the implications, Bill still seems like he's very determined to get these 7 billion shots out to the world. So fast that reports have been saying that they're skipping animal trials that normally constitute a critical step in development of these medications. That is just the money burning a hole through Bill's pocket.
But the private companies have stepped up. The science has been advanced. The U.S. funds biological research more than any other country. We've stepped up to fund these vaccine manufacturers. The plants are being worked out now. In 2021.
In 2021.
There's a good chance this can get done, and because this is about the billions that we need to spend to save trillions and avoid all those deaths.
There he goes again, talking about 2021 for some reason. Anyways, listen up, guys, because this next part involves all of us, and there may be many people that is highly unaware of what is getting ready to be said.
I want to ask you about today, the government support, taxpayer money that's going towards vaccine development. Today, we learned Pfizer is going to get nearly $2 billion, Moderna receiving $438 million in taxpayer money. And yet both companies have said they will not sell the vaccine at cost. They're going to make a profit on it. Should pharmaceutical companies profit off this vaccine research that taxpayers have helped fund?
Well, the Pfizer case is more of a procurement agreement than an R&D funding agreement. AstraZeneca, Johnson & Johnson have said they're going to use a non-profit construct. You know, the exact contracts that were negotiated, I don't have access to, but yeah, you'd want to balance the fact who's taking the risk and who gets the benefit of those things. It's fantastic that the research is being funded, and you know, I hope those agreements in terms of pricing and access are very strong. Vaccines are so important. They've played the primary role in cutting child to death in half over the last 20 years. That our foundation, the U.S. government have been very involved in that. So
So I want to address some of them. To be clear, do you want a vaccine so that you can implant microchips into people?
no, there's no connection between any of these vaccines and any tracking type thing at all. I don't know where that came from.
And yet there was a poll by YouGov and Yahoo that shows 44% of Republicans, 19% of Democrats, and 24% of independents think that you want to do that. Bill Gates, thank you so much for joining us and for all of the information.
Guys, what do you think? Pfizer is getting $2 billion and Moderna is getting $438 million of taxpayers' money. But they're still going to charge Americans and make a profit. And also remember that they're supplying the world for a profit too. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. Make sure and share this video far and wide. And if you haven't, make sure and leave this video a thumbs up and make sure that you hit subscribe before you leave this video. Other than that, guys, like always, take care of yourself, and I will see you all in the next video.